Just trade me. Just get me out of here. Trade me. Everybody is tradable. I don't know why we have to have this conversation every single day. And I don't know why every time I say this player could be traded for that player, it's just an instant no because you can't trade people. I don't understand it. I got something really that I got to get into and I got to get off my chest here. We got lots to talk about today. Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, Flyers, whatever your heart contents we'll talk about. But I got a lot to get off my chest and we're going to talk about it today. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. It starts in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow, subscribe. Turn notifications on. Tell a friend. Tell somebody. Knock on the person's shoulder in front of you at Wawa. Tell them. Turn Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network because it is the only place where your opinions actually matter because they do matter. And everybody's opinion matters. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, how to have a debate, how to discuss, how to say everyone's opinion actually matters. Tobias Harris trade value. We got that could be talked about today. All prospects are tradable because they are just that, prospects. Everybody is tradable, even me. It's okay. A little thing that I came up with literally like 15 minutes ago was, will Joel Embiid be more like Dame Lillard and stay in Philly or eventually demand a trade? I think it is. I think it's interesting. Do the deal. What deal? I have no idea. But do the deal because every deal, there's a deal for everybody out there. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, right here on Trending the AM. And good morning, everybody. Make sure you hit the like button on this video, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. I'd greatly appreciate it. And again, another day approaches. And I hope you haven't flooded away because I won't lie. Last night, I thought my house was just going to float down the street because it rained so hard last night. So hopefully everybody's okay. Hopefully everybody's got power. Hopefully everybody's dried out. But this is the dog days of summer here. You know what I mean? Like there's baseball going on and not much else. Training camp is still, a month away. The Phillies, the Eagles season is 75 days till they kick off. NBA season is over. Hockey is the draft hasn't there's nothing going on. So you never know what we're going to talk about. Good morning, Adam. How you doing this morning? I hope you are well. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but you know what? And always something comes up and something happens, or I get into an interaction on Twitter or social media somewhere, and I get ideas for shows. I mean, I take notes throughout the day. I got my notebook here. I carry it with me to work. I write down ideas and topics, and sometimes we cover them. Sometimes we don't. There's ones I wrote down for yesterday we didn't touch on. Maybe we do today. I don't know. It is what it is. But it's this conversation of trades that still is just so prevalent today. You got the Phillies trades that should they or shouldn't they trade a prospect for somebody. You got the Tobias Harris. I have no clue what his value is. John Collins yesterday just basically got salary dumped yesterday. And John Collins, let me say from the Atlanta Hawks, is not as good as people thought he was going to be. So his trade value was very low with his contract. Tobias Harris is 5 times the player that John Collins is at this point. But it just leaves you to say that everybody is tradable. And my title of the show, Trade Me, even I'm tradable. If Liam wants to trade me, to another network, my price for being traded would be astronomical because I'm the star, I'm just kidding. But, I don't know. What would cost more, trading me away from Philadelphia Sports Network or trading Jalen Hurts away from the Eagles? I don't know. But, it's this topic of conversation about trades that's so polarizing. And there's so many people that come on this show and the family that we're building, this community that we're building that I love. And we all debate and discuss, and we do it in a very engaging fashion because that's what sports talk is. Yet there's some people that go out there on social media and call you an effing this, effing that. You don't effing know nothing. You don't effing know this. And this person might be watching. And you got to remember something. Most people that do podcasts or content creation, they do it for a hobby. They don't do it to make much money. But every person that does its goal, even if they won't admit it, is to eventually make money doing it or get picked up by a big network or something like that. That's everybody's goal. I don't care. I don't care until you're blue in the face. You say, no, that's not what I want. It is. But the amount of people that are out there that are just not trolls. Trolls are totally different. That are just so stubborn and stuck in their ways and talk down and rudely and poorly to people. You effing don't know this. You effing don't know that. What the F are you going to do this and that? I just don't get why people in this industry, this content creation industry, because content creation is an industry now. Why people that are in this industry seem to think that that is the way to get noticed. Like, you think a big network's going to find you, they're not going to do a background check in your social media, they're going to punch in keywords, and they're going to see that. No way. We don't want this guy working for us. This guy's a, an a-hole. And I could be considered an a-hole by some too. I'm just saying. But the feeling that, your opinion always is right and no one else's opinion matters, I think is the wrong way to do things. That's why I have this tagline for the show, where your opinions actually matter. Because I have my opinions. I know what I think the Phillies should do or what the Sixers should do. But I'm open for discussion. I'm the one that said pause here. You guys didn't like that idea, so I came up with other options. We have an engaging conversation on this show every single morning. I engage everybody on Twitter every single day, no matter what. I just don't get people that don't want to have an engaging conversation. And this person, like I said, this person specifically that rubbed me the wrong way yesterday. There was actually two that rubbed me the wrong way yesterday, but this one specifically, I know this person sometimes watches. They might hear me, and I'm going to get put on blast again, subtweeted again, about what I have to say. I don't care, but I'm here to openly engage, openly. And if that person, who you are, if you're listening on Twitter, head over to the YouTube page. You can comment on the comment section. Tell me that I'm wrong, that you take your discussion of your opinions too far. It's just annoying. I got DMs from people saying, don't worry, that person does this to everybody. I know. I've engaged this person multiple times. I've ignored them for a lot, but, sometimes it just rubs me the wrong way. So, when you just think about what other people are going to see, what you say when you put it on social media. When you put it on social media, it doesn't go away. There's screenshots of it. It's out there. So that's my little word of advice to people. Just, think about what you say on social media before you do it. Engage, create an image of, engagement where people want to talk to you, where the people want to come to your show or your podcast or whatever. Don't create an image where you're just an asshole. Plain and simple. But anyway, do the deal. Hashtag do the deal. What deal? I don't know. Are we talking Tobias Harris trade? Are we talking Phillies trade? Hell, are we talking an Eagles trade? There's so many trades. We could be talking Flyers trades. There's so many trades that could be done. And I've thought about this before with the Sixers in the last week. That it's been 40 years since the Sixers have won an NBA title. I was 2 years old. I don't remember it. So anybody that's not willing to trade Tyrese Maxey or Joel Embiid or wants to do this with Harden or wants to do that with Tobias Harris, just think about it. I'm not worried about 5 years from now. I'm worried about this year. And we're going to talk Sixers. I got a few ideas and thoughts here. But also, because I did this poll yesterday, I started the conversation. I said I was going to do a poll. Whose job would you want right now? Because of how difficult all the Philadelphia situations are right now. Would you want Dave Dombrowski's job? Would you want Danny Briere's job? Or would you want Daryl Morey's job right now? And they all got some negatives and positives to it. And what I'm thinking of, everyone's like, you don't trade Andrew Painter or Mick Abel or Griff McGreary. You don't trade this guy, that guy. Do we realize not only have the Sixers not won an NBA title in 40 years, Philadelphia is probably the losingest city in the history of sports. Let's just think about it. Like, everybody is always concerned about the future 5 years from now. The Eagles have 2 Super Bowls. Well, 1 Super Bowl, 4 appearances. 1 Super Bowl, 4 appearances. The Phillies have won 2 World Series. The Phillies are one of the original 8. The Phillies have over 110 seasons in baseball. They've won two World Series. The Flyers haven't won since when? Like, literally, what are we worried about in the future? Why aren't we worried about just winning? You know, dude, I love sports in general, but I feel like NBA fans get so invested in the players, like they so defensive about them. It's like that about baseball prospects too, Cam. Like the amount of fights I've gotten into or disagreements that the other person turned into fights because they can't understand that some people's opinions may differ than theirs. Um, like like you know, they get so invested in players and prospects in baseball and this and that. Dude, I just want to win a title. In my lifespan, I was born in 1980, Cam. The Sixers have won an NBA title when I was 2. The Eagles have won 1 Super Bowl. The Phillies have won 1 World Series. Like, that's it. Like, that's all I've seen. I'm 42. I've seen a handful of titles. This isn't Pittsburgh. This isn't Boston. This isn't LA. Like, I don't get it. Like, I am literally willing to trade anybody in the right deal. There's literally a deal to be made for Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying don't clip me out and say I said trade Jalen Hurts. I did not. I'm not. Jalen Hurts' disrespect is still on the agenda to talk about today, tomorrow, Friday, whenever. The constant disrespect to Jalen Hurts. But the fact that everybody feels certain players are no. If you are not a team that wins titles regularly, everything has to be on the table for conversation. And that's my whole point. Like, there's got to be a conversation about everybody. And with the NBA players, Flyers haven't won a title since 74 and 75. I wasn't born, Adam. You weren't born yet. It's pathetic how frustrating it is that people latch on to these athletes and aren't willing to trade them because they might help the team in the future. Like, I don't care about the future. I care about this season. Don't worry about next year. I keep getting told you don't trade Andrew Painter, Mick Abel, and Griff McGreary. You don't trade any of them for the Phillies. They're 3 top pitching prospects. Let me tell you something. First and foremost, outside of Andrew Painter, Mick Abel would not be the number 2 prospect probably on any other organization's prospect list. So you trade him if you can. You trade Andrew Painter in the right deal. Showtime, Ohtani type deal. And that's it. But the others, they can all be traded for anything. I was discussing with somebody yesterday about Cody Clement. Like, what do the Phillies need to trade for? We could talk about what the Sixers need. We just happen to get into a Phillies conversation here. Sixers, Eagles, whatever. But I got into a discussion yesterday. This one person's like, well, Cody Clemens has held down first base really well. So we don't need a first baseman right now. What? Like, yeah, Paul Goldschmidt's the guy I want. But Paul Goldschmidt's not the only guy available that can make the Phillies better. You could trade for a first baseman, a left fielder, a third, but you could make a lot of different trades for this team that would improve them. And while Cody Clemens has done better than I expected, he's still hitting like 227. He's literally played in a lot more games than I expected up to this point. He's got 4 home runs. Your semi-regular first baseman in Major League Baseball can't have 4 home runs and be considered good. Like, he's exceeded expectations for me at 227 batting average, 270 on base percentage, whatnot. But you're telling me you don't want Paul Goldschmidt because Cody Clemens and maybe Bryce Harper down the line is good enough at first base? Get out of here with that. That's crazy talk. Like, Kyle Schwarber, you want him out of left field. I get that. But are we willing to take him out of left field at the price of having Bryce Harper at first base playing a position never before, continuing to rush him back from Tommy John surgery, and have Cody Clemens fill in at the time whenever it's needed? Like, that's just doesn't seem right. Like, if you've got an opportunity to trade for a player, trade Mick Abel for Paul Goldschmidt, just say that. We're going to say no to that because we don't want to give up Mick Abel and we don't want to lose Cody Clemens. Like, we're trying to win a World Series here. We got to the World Series last year. Don't we want to take the next step? Everything's got to be on the table. Everything. When we talk Sixers trades, like, I did this poll question, like I talked about whose job you would rather have right now. And there's about 155 votes in so far. It's going to run through tomorrow, and we'll really talk about it again tomorrow. But Daryl Morey is getting destroyed. Nobody wants Daryl Morey's job because who knows what Daryl Morey even is capable of doing. And I still firmly believe James Harden's decision is holding up everything. I think he might have traded Tobias Harris by now if he knew what was going on with James Harden. He might have made a bigger, bolder move and traded Tyrese Maxey if he knew what James Harden was doing. But the lack of having no clue what James Harden's going to do, and again, a new report circulating again yesterday. 3 days ago, it was James Harden's most likely to return on a short deal. 3 days before that, it was he was going to go to Houston. Now, yesterday, reports out he's still torn. First, it was he's almost dead set likely to come back to Philly. Now, more rumors are circulating. He thinks he's going to come back to Philly, but he really is torn because he wants to go back to Houston. Like, get out of here with this stuff. I'm tired of it. Like, say you're going to play here or move on. Just do it. This Dame Lillard stuff about every single year, it doesn't know if he's going to stay in Portland or doesn't know if he wants to ask out. And every single year, you and your agent have to go sit down with the Blazers front office and say, what's your plan this offseason? Do I want to stay and be a part of it or not? You signed a contract to play in Portland, Dame. You've had countless opportunities to leave. Either say you want to leave or just say you're going to stay. Like, the constant back and forth with Dame Lillard and the constant back and forth with James Harden, it's nauseating. As a fan, like, I don't want to hear about this stuff anymore. Like, make a decision. Just say you're going to do one or the other thing. Like, the back and forth, I saw last night only Harden's inner circle knows what he's. I don't even think his inner circle. I don't think James Harden knows what he's going to do. I don't. But the problem is when James Harden is teetering back and forth for weeks on end, when Dame Lillard might finally want out, but I'll stay because I agree with what your thought process is, or maybe I'll get traded. I don't know. Like, do you realize how much this affects the organization's decisions? Whether it's the Sixers and Daryl Morey, or wherever the GM is of the Portland Trailblazers, like, what they do this offseason is determined based off of what their star player decides to do. But yet the star player can't make up their mind. So they can't make any moves. Because if James Harden goes, Daryl Morey has to do X. If Dame Lillard wants out of Portland, they have to do X. If James Harden stays in Philly, they do Y. If Dame Lillard stays in Portland, they do Y. Like, there's so many different things. And yet other teams are out here making moves. You know, we saw yesterday John Collins get traded from the Hawks. A salary dump, nonetheless. I get that. But, like, other teams are making moves. We've seen Chris Paul traded, Bradley Beal traded, Marcus Smart, Kristaps Porzingis. The values of these trades, because of this new CBA, I really got to do some serious reading to learn about these new changes to CBA. I keep hearing everybody talking about them. I just don't understand it fully. I'm not a numbers guy. But some of these trade values are all over the place. There's Marcus Smart getting traded for multiple first-round picks and a player. You got Chris Paul being basically a salary dump guy. You got John Collins. John Collins is an interesting case because there was a point in time not too long ago, the year before we traded Ben Simmons, that a lot of Sixers fans wanted us to trade Ben Simmons for John Collins. John Collins was an up and climbing or ascending basketball player. He got his max deal. He's got like 3 years, $80 million left on his contract. And it's like, he was ascending. But boy, did he hit a brick wall last year in Atlanta. Like, not even hit a brick wall. He hit the brick wall and fell over it. He was Humpty Dumpty. You know, sat on the wall, took a big, great fall. You know, he fell to pieces last year. Not good at all of a season. And now there's talk that, like, maybe he just wasn't that good. So he basically gets dumped yesterday for next to nothing, which actually opens the door. And I did bring up the trade machine just to see contract values and stuff. Is Atlanta like in a retool where they're willing to trade some players? You know, is Tobias Harris to Atlanta an option at this point? You got Hunter. He's got 4 years and $20 million a year left on his contract. You got Bogdanovich, 4 years, $18.7 million left on his contract. Is there a scenario where maybe we could take one of those big contracts away from them? Let's just see. Tobias Harris, say for Bogdanovich, and you need something to fill in the salary. The Sadiq Bey, he's only got 1 year left. That's not enough money right there. So let's throw in Hunter. It's Hunter, Bogdanovich, and Sadiq Bey. for Tobias Harris. We'd have to throw something else in there. I don't know. I just don't know what Tobias like. 1 minute, I think Tobias Harris could go for multiple players and maybe get us a draft pick. Then the next day, I think he's going to be a salary dump. Like, I don't know. But again, this James Harden situation lingering, with Portland, if Dame Lillard wants out, you might as well blow up and get rid of. Like, I look at Portland. If Dame Lillard wanted out, Daryl Morey would be calling Portland. Not for Dame Lillard, but for Jeremy Grant. But yet, if Dame Lillard's staying, you're not getting rid of Jeremy Grant. Now Dame Lillard's saying he wants his big three to be Jeremy Grant, himself, and Draymond Green. That is like the most asinine big three. If that's really what Dame Lillard wants, go get me Draymond Green and that'll bring us a title. He's insane. Draymond Green wouldn't even be the third star on that team as it stays. He'd be the fourth or fifth best player on that team. Like, it's just ridiculous to think that Draymond Green's going to put Portland over the top. Let me bring up Portland's construction and roster right now. I mean, Simons, or however you say his name, is obviously the second biggest star there. Grant, Simons, and Lillard, that's your big three. Hell, Nurkic is a really good center, too. I guess you got to trade him if you go get Draymond Green or make him a backup, but you're paying him a lot of money. I don't know. But it's crazy to think that you can't make trades until these stars make up their decision. Depends on the team. Some teams value Tobias and will give assets. Other teams overpaid role player on a terrible contract. And I think both things are valid opinions on him. If you're a GM and you think that he's, valuable, I can make the argument to support that. If you're a GM that thinks he's not valuable because of his contract, I can see the argument there as well. But the thing is, these stars that hold up organizations' decision-making, like, I honestly, truly believe Tobias Harris would either be traded or there'd be firm rumors. We got two options on the table that one of these is going to happen. Like, we would know what's going to happen with Tobias Harris if James Harden would just make his decision. Because what you try to get in return for Tobias Harris changes with or without with James Harden on the team. Same thing with Portland, what they're doing. You can't make up your mind if you don't know what Dame Lillard's going to do. And it brings into an interesting point, and I haven't really had time. I literally thought of this right before the show. So I haven't really had time to think about this and dive deep into this. At what point of his career does Joel Embiid become Dame Lillard? Where every offseason we have to talk about, well, does Joel want out or not? Joel's like Dame Lillard in the sense where he does truly love Philadelphia. He loves playing for the Sixers. He loves playing for the fans of Philadelphia. He loves playing in that Wells Fargo Center. But everybody wants to win that title. Well, everybody but James Harden might not want to win a title if he does go back to Houston. That proves that. But at what point? It's not been this offseason. Will it be next offseason? If they run it back with James Harden again and it falls apart again, does he start contemplating wanting out of here? Like, at what point does Joel Embiid say, or is there a point that he says, I'm not sure? I'd rather a player say, I want out. I hate how in the NBA, players have so much control. Like, if I want out, you got to trade me because I'm just going to sit out like Ben Simmons or whatever and not play. I'd rather definitive I want out or I want to stay, find a way to keep me. At what point, and does it happen, that Joel Embiid becomes that Dame Lillard and says, maybe I want out. Let's see what you're going to do, and then I'll decide if I'm going to stay or not. Like, does that happen? Do we want it? Like, again, I'd rather Joel Embiid, if that eventually does happen next year, 2 years from now, whatever. I mean, Joel Embiid's still only 29, going to be 30 years old. He's still, everybody talks about this Joel Embiid championship window. I mean, it's not as small as people think it is, as long as he stays relatively healthy. But, like, does he become Dame Lillard at some point? And like I said, I haven't really had deep time to think about this. It's just popped into my head this morning. But, man, that's the worst case scenario for this franchise and this organization if he's in that teetering standpoint for several years. Because now you think about it, Dame Lillard's, 33 years old now? Like, he's, maybe I'll give it one more chance in Portland. The next year will be 34. We'll see. Maybe not. Like, at some point, Then he becomes an old player that you can't trade. Like Dame Lillard right now, you can still trade and get probably a haul for. Joel Embiid in a year or two, you can still probably trade and get a haul for. But when they're 34, 35, 36, all of a sudden it's like you just wasted your whole career, in Portland. Not sure. Maybe if he would go into an off season, Dame Lillard, with a firm, I am staying, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it, things would be different. Maybe Portland would have made a different thing. They would have traded that. Like, they got one of the young. Didn't Portland draft one of the kids? One of the twins. Did they have the third pick or the fourth? If they had the fourth pick, they drafted one of the twins. Like maybe they trade that fourth pick for a player, a star player. Maybe they do that, and then all of a sudden Dame Lillard has another star with him to play with. I don't know, but because Dame Lillard can never make up his damn mind. And I don't want to be hamstrung by Joel Embiid. I'm already hamstrung by James Harden, not knowing what he's going to do. Like, that really hurts a team. Excuse me. But again, that's why when I ran this poll question yesterday, and it's still early in the poll. I mean, it's only, like I said, 150 some votes into the poll. Let me pull it up here real quick. 158 votes into the poll right now. And it's on my Twitter page, @BeardedKnowledge. Started a convo. What GM job would you want right now? And at 158 votes, 13.9% have voted Daryl Morey. 40.5% Dave Dombrowski. They want his job. And 45.6 actually want Danny Briere's job right now, which is insane to think about. That people would rather take Danny Briere's rebuild job over the Phillies or Sixers job right now. Put polls on here. Can I put, I know there's a way to do polls on YouTube, but because of the streaming site I use, I don't know if it's possible. I'm not sure how to do that. Matt Chatter, if you know how to put polls on here, I'm assuming polls means polls. If you know how to put polls on here, there you go. You just corrected yourself. If you know how to do that, send me a DM and tell me how to do that, because I'm not sure how that works, the polls part of it. But it's all about this leverage the players hold that makes the job unattractive. I wouldn't want to be Daryl Morey. I would rather be Dave Dombrowski over Daryl Morey. And again, you got to upgrade first base. You got to upgrade left field. You got to upgrade starting pitching. How do you do that? You trade your assets. What are the Phillies' assets? Their prospects. Again, at least the Sixers have won a title 40 years ago. The Phillies have won a title less than that. But the Phillies I don't know if people realize this. If you're like Mad Chatter, you might not realize this. Philly fans know this. The Philadelphia Phillies are the losingest franchise in the history of sports. They're the first team in sports history to lose 10,000 games. First team in sports history to lose 11,000 games. Nobody loses more than the Phillies. But yet, we hold the prospects to this untouchable level because, I was told, well, if you trade 2 of your 3 starting pitching prospects, in 2025, we only have 3 pitchers under contract. So who's going to start? Who cares about your starting rotation in 2025? Who? I don't. We'll have money coming off the book. You say you can't spend all this money. Well, you can spend all the money you want in baseball. Zach Wheeler's contract will be off the books. Aaron Nola will be out. Look, you trade. You make a signing. You spend money. I don't care. I don't. I also firmly believe in baseball. It's more important to build your team from within, offensively speaking. And then you buy your pitching. It's better to buy a sure thing as a pitcher than it is to, bring a kid up. I mean, Sixto Sanchez, perfect example. He was untouchable. We traded him for JT Realmuto, the best catcher in baseball. And everybody was up in arms. You're giving away your best prospect pitcher for a catcher that was a rental who we ended up retaining. And Sixto Sanchez has barely played in majors because he's always hurt. When I think Philly, I think top 5 largest cities, why the team stinks so much. Exactly. Philly fans are some of the most passionate athletes in all of sports, or fans in all of sports. We're passionate. We're stubborn. We're not the a-holes people think. The things that happen in Philly happen 10 times worse everywhere else at sporting events. Just so you're aware of that. We're not as bad as people think. But yet we have 4 organizations. I guess you could say 5. We have the Philadelphia Union. 6, we have the Philadelphia Stars. But how many titles have we won? It's so few titles in this city. And we're one of the longest, like I said, Phillies are one of the original 8 baseball teams. And they've won 2 World Series. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why Philadelphia fans are not willing to trade people. And this goes to the Sixers too. Like, if Tyrese Maxey is asked for in a trade that makes us a title contender in 2023, 2024, and I'm Daryl Morey, I am doing the deal. And somebody called the Eagles and said, give me X young player, and I'll give you whatever. I want titles. I worry about the future in the future. You can rebuild, you can retool, you can flip a team around a lot quicker than people realize if you've got a smart GM. If it comes down to keeping Nola or Wheeler, who do you keep and why? Well, you keep Wheeler because he's under contract this year and next year. Nola's a free agent at the end of the year. Adam, I'll give you a scenario. I don't know how it works out. I'm no GM. I'm not Dave. I would like to be Dave Dombrowski's job, but I'm not Dave Dombrowski. I don't have his job. I'm trying to move Aaron Nola at this trade deadline. I'm also trying to add or move Kyle Schwarber at the deadline. I saw somebody put it out on Twitter. I forget who it was. Was Kyle Schwarber's 4-year, $79 million? I think it was Mark actually said it. Was the 4-year, $79 million contract that Schwarber got a mistake? He helped lead us to the World Series last year. He's the leader of this locker room, but was a mistake. So I'm moving Nola because I'm trying to get something for Nola now, because we're not going to give him the $200 million he wants. Some team may not, but I'm moving Nola now and trying to get something, because the way Nola's pitching this year, are you going to be confident, Adam, with Aaron Nola going game 2 of the NLCS? I'm not. I'm not saying that we have an answer to replace him, but that's why I'm saying if you trade, say, 2 or 3 of your top pitching prospects and overall prospects, if you start trading them and you bring in some major league talent that's ready now to succeed, you go out and get not a 5th starter, but a number 2 starter, a top flight starter, you do it. And then you don't have to worry about Aaron Nola. And then that team that's giving up their top pitcher, might need somebody to eat innings. You trade Aaron Nola as part of the deal. Maybe you have to give up less prospect-wise if you include Aaron Nola. Maxey is not mid, but I'm still trading him. Philly fans are passionate, but in love with mediocrity for some reason. That's an interesting statement. I don't know if it's the statement of the day. I don't know if it wins statement of the day. But I might start screenshotting statements of the day and post them on Twitter. In fact, I don't know. Can I do this? Can I do a screenshot of a live thing here? I think I can. All right, let's screenshot that and save that, because I think that's an interesting thing right there. I really do. The question is that the problem? I don't know. I really got to think about that for a second. Try not to lose the screenshot right here. Are they in love with mediocrity? Or are they just in love with arguing? Or do we enjoy pain? We're into that kind of thing here. I don't enjoy pain. Trust me, I'm going to be in a lot of pain today. That rain last night, and so I don't know. For those that don't know, I broke my leg really bad in college. Really, really bad. Basically, think of Alex Smith. That's what happened to my leg. And when it rains like it did last night, dude, when I got out of bed this morning, I could barely walk. That's how much pain my leg was in this morning. But, there we go. We saved that. The comment of the day, new segment right here on Trending the AM. It's going to be, and I'm going to put $1 million soup 75, your comment on the screen on my Twitter page today. It's interesting. We enjoy pain. We enjoy mediocrity. We enjoy, maybe it's because we're so passionate. We rather debate whether to do X or Y and just stay in that mediocrity level, because it creates more debate. Instead of just wanting to do whatever it takes to win. Well, look at Phil. He thinks mid-Maxey. Look, I like Maxey. I love Maxey. I have a lot. There was way too many hate tweets yesterday to share. So there were just way too many. And it was because my poll question, I can't share. I don't want to give too many people too much credit. But hold on a second here. I got told with my poll question yesterday that, let's see, Danny Briere's been a GM of the Flyers for a second. What kind of dumb poll is this? And then someone else said me running this poll was just me trying to fish for views on YouTube. Well, first off, what person isn't trying to fish for views on YouTube? I also told I don't know anything about baseball because I'm willing to trade Andrew Painter for a bench bat. And then when I responded, find the tweet where I said that, and you can't because I never said that. That's it. It's not stirring the pot. I really don't know. Like, I really think that maybe the fans of Philadelphia prefer mediocrity because it just creates more debate. Like, I don't know. Like, or we're just so used to mediocrity. Is that part of it? We're just used to being mediocre, being almost good enough. Click and clout. It's all about clickbait. But you can do clickbait in a very respectful and honest way. I don't have to go out there and say, like Marcus Hayes, that Jalen Hurts is an insecure athlete to generate clicks. Now, I know what Marcus Hayes was really trying to say. I don't think he really thinks he's truly an insecure person. He was trying to say that Jalen Hurts always has to prove the doubters wrong. He's always got to prove and keep working to be better because he's got this perfectionist mindset. But instead of saying what he really felt, Marcus Hayes, he goes and uses a clickbait line like, Jalen Hurts is an insecure athlete. And guess what? Marcus Hayes is appearing on every single major media show explaining what he meant and explaining it better than the actual statement he made. Like, you don't have to be like that. Is Phil just looking for clout? Find out tomorrow on Dragon Ball Z. Well, I don't know about anything about Dragon Ball Z. I know what it is, but I don't know. But I don't look for clout. I really don't. Like, yeah, I want 1 million viewers every day. I want to overtake the radio stations in the morning with this show. And I think we could. We're building that community here. But the thing is, like, I make a few clicky kind of comments, but very respectful kind of comments. Some part of it is we love being the underdogs. Yeah, I know the whole 2017 underdog masks with the Eagles was fun and all. The problem is, like, I don't want to be the underdog. I want to be the favorite. I want to be the best. I want to be the dream team. For real. Not the dream team Vince Young team. Like, it's all cool for a rallying cry to be the underdogs. We're hungry dogs. It's all cool. But at some point, I'd rather be the Kansas City Chiefs, just the favorite every year, and every couple of years we win. At some point, I want to be Tom Brady and the Patriots, who are going to make the Super Bowl $1 million. What was LeBron James in the NBA Finals 8 years in a row? At some point, I just want to be that. The guy that always is getting there. That's what I want. I don't want to have to be the underdog. I don't want the miraculous Phillies miracle run to the World Series last year. I want to be favored to get to the World Series and get to the World Series and take care of business. Like the Braves last year were the favorites, and they didn't take care of business. I want to be the team that's the favorite that takes care of business. The Chiefs took care of business last year. That's what I want to be. Let's see here. Let's run through some of these comments. I do want to cash checks, that $500 super cash check there, that is contender. Totally agree. I appreciate the cheer. But, $1 million, if you didn't agree, we could create a discussion on why. Because that's what I do here. I bring all opinions to the table. Unlike what I'm told on Twitter last night, that my opinion is useless. My opinion doesn't matter. I don't know effing this or effing that about baseball. Like, I try to keep it professional. I try to keep it fun. I try to keep it engaging. And I try to really, truly believe that all opinions matter. I do. Charlie Sheen winning. Yeah, that was, what was that, a time to be alive, Charlie Sheen in the late aughts and the early 2010s. Like Charlie Sheen, was it tiger blood or sheep blood that he was drinking? The end of his time on 2.5 Men, how that all went. Like, there was a time Charlie Sheen was like, I really thought he was just going to die live on TV, on a live 2.5 Men taping. Because, man, is there any actor slash character combo that were portrayed equally? Like Charlie Sheen and Charlie Harper were the same exact person. They really were. Is there any other character in TV or movies that was portrayed? I mean, I guess Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. is close. The playboy partier, kind of philosophy of Tony Stark with Robert Downey Jr. Is there anybody else that those two people, line up so perfectly like that? I don't know. Tiger blood so much. Yeah, I'm surprised he's alive. I heard some rumors that 2.5 Men was going to do a little refresh, reboot, bring back Charlie Harper and Charlie Sheen. Is there a show that had I can't even think of too many shows where they had a lot of success, then they had to get rid of the main actor and recast it. And the recast was just so bad. Like, so bad. Because Ashton Kutcher, 2.5 Men, when he took over on that show, it was just so bad. So bad. Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer. Was Val Kilmer really like Bruce Wayne in real life? Let me tell you something. On a Val Kilmer side note, his portrayal of John Morrison on The Doors, Jim Morrison in The Doors, it's one of his most underrated movies he performed in. We're off on talking TV and movies right now. I don't even know how we got on here. Let me find something on my list here. Trades, something to talk about here. Get back on the sports conversation. I don't know if I want to talk about this, but if you got a guy, an actor or an actress that lives the role, or the role was meant for them, you let me know. Tombstone was a great movie. One of the best Western movies there is of all time, obviously. Cast was great. The acting was great in it. A lot of people in that movie, it was their best role they ever performed in, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. But I can't say without a shadow of doubt Val Kilmer was definitely Doc Holliday in real life. Not really sure about that. But yeah, back to the Sixers conversation, back to this Phillies conversation. Still touching on the Eagles. You realize, like I said, 75 days till the Eagles kick off their regular season. I know it's not Football Friday, but as we get closer and closer to training camp, we'll do more and more Eagles talk throughout the week, not just on Fridays. Like, I can't believe we're 75 days away. And we need football here so badly because we're in this purgatory. Somebody told me that yesterday on Twitter. The Sixers are in purgatory again. And we thought we were in purgatory during the Andre Iguodala, Elton Brand years, and we were. We were always the 8th seed, 7th seed, getting bounced in the first round. Now we're in purgatory because we're the 3rd seed all the time, and we're getting bounced in the second round. But we can't get out of that purgatory until Tobias Harris is traded. But we can't trade Tobias Harris until James Harden makes up his mind. And even if James Harden makes up his mind, Tobias Harris, they make a decision on him. I still think the thought process I brought up a little bit ago, that when does Joel Embiid become Dame Lillard and just have to have this teetering? Like, we might get out of purgatory this year once Harden and Tobias Harris make their decisions, or he makes his decision and we make our decision on Harris, whatever. But at some point, does Joel Embiid just start every year in this teetering process? USFL championships were lit. The 12 people that watched, 10 of them were from different screens of yours. Saturday is the championship. All right, Man Chatter, who is in the championship game for the USFL? I know the Philadelphia Stars are not this year, but who's in the championship game? I couldn't even tell you what the team's mascots are if you said the city. So, it is what it is. Maybe I'll tune in, but I doubt it. I don't even know what's on Saturday. We got the Rocket Mortgage Classic on the PGA Tour this week. Where did my bets go this week? I didn't do Fairway to Heaven last night. Ricky Fowler, 17-1. That's the bet of the week right there. Birmingham Stallions versus the Pittsburgh Maulers. Those are some real creative names right there. They sound like knockoff league like mascots too. What's a Mauler? Like, seriously. And Stallions, that sounds like something you would name your high school team. Not a pro team. Weak. And if you're watching the USFL, more power to you. That just means that you love football. If you watch the USFL, the XFL, the IFL, whatever. There's like 20 different leagues out there. If you watch those leagues, that just shows how much people love football in this country. Because there's no other reason, see, I just said the Stallions is a high school. Like, Judd saying Birmingham Stallions is my high school nickname. I mean, like, was your personal name the Stallion, or was your high school named the Stallions? And I got to make sure we clarify that right there. I want to know if Judd was the Stallion. Just goes to show how big football is in this country. That you got the off season of all these sports. You got baseball in the heart of its season. Okay, not you personally. Oh no, me personally. You were the Stallion. You were the Birmingham Stallion. That's a pretty cool. Like, is your Twitter handle? I'm going to Google search on Twitter Birmingham Stallion after the show. Maybe that's your Twitter name. Oh, that wasn't a good thing. I was thinking Stallion as your, stud. You know what I mean? No, I guess it was. Sorry if that was the case. Bringing up bad memories here. Fan control shut down and Terrell Owens out of a job, and Johnny Manziel. Man, Johnny Manziel, if you can't cut it in fan-controlled football, you can't cut it anywhere. But there's so much. I mean, like, I know, Man Chatter, you watch the USFL and you support it and the XFL, but you realize, like, the Arena Football League, they shut down. They've come back in. They shut down. Whatever. But there's like 4 other indoor football professional leagues in the United States. There are so many semi-pro leagues. It's insane. Like, there is so much taste for football. Nobody asked. You're jumping in late here. Nobody asked to be traded. The conversation today is about a lot of different things. But we're continuing this conversation that nobody is untradeable. We are the losingest city in the history of sports. If you're worried about trading Mick Abel because of 5 years from now you might need him as a starter, or Tyrese Maxey because in 5 years he might be an NBA star, why? Why are we worried about 5 years from now? Because the Phillies are the losingest franchise in the history of sports. The Sixers haven't won a title in 40 years. The Flyers haven't won a title in 50 years. Like, seriously, everybody is tradable. Everybody. Phillies going to London next year against the Mets. Thoughts on that? I'm really going to try to push, Liam, Team PSN. Maybe we can make it a group trip, and maybe he'll pay for everybody. I know we can all stay at his place for free. But I don't know how I feel about teams going overseas in general. Like, I kind of like it. I kind of don't. It helps grow the game. Great. But it makes for time zone differences that I don't want to. And I'm not traveling to London probably. It is what it is. It shows that the Phillies have star power. They're not just putting any 2 teams out there. Phillies travel well, the fans. Bryce Harper's a star. That's what it is. Arena's back next year. I heard they were coming back at some point, and that's great. But there's literally like 4 or 5 other arena leagues out there. The IFF something L. They're in like the Midwest, Iowa, Oklahoma area. I've talked to some of their players and coaches before on the show. That's how I linked up with Coach Dan Carlson a few weeks ago that was on this show. He coaches in a lot of those indoor leagues. I'm convinced T.O. could still help a team right now. Dude, T.O. did that, appearance in the fan control league for publicity, for money, whatever. But I agree with you 110%. We talk about Tom Brady playing into his 40s. T.O. could play into his 40s. He could play into his 50s. Like, if Bartello alone can still be playing baseball at 50, T.O. right now can still be playing football. And I don't know about 3rd wide receiver, but he could definitely be the 4th wide receiver on any football team in the NFL. So let's see, how many football teams are there? 30 or 32, whatever. 4 wide receivers. That's 120. You tell me there's 120 better wide receivers in the NFL right now than T.O.? Most teams have 5 on their roster. You tell me there's 150 better wide receivers than T.O. right now? Zero chance. There are too many young men who, given time to develop, could be good. Exactly. And I've done a lot of work with Pro Level Sports Agency. It's a talent agency for football players just below the NFL. They get them into the USFL, the XFL, these indoor leagues, and it's run by Buddy Walters, the nephew of Buddy Ryan, cousin of Rex and Rob Ryan. I've had him on this show a few times in the past. They give a lot of these players an opportunity to get professional game film, and not many of them make it to the NFL, but some do. And there's a lot going on with that I do like. Liam, get Phil out there. Company money. That's right. No $500 super chat, so I can't afford it. I wish the other football leagues. Yeah, I mean, some of them are aired on YouTube, but that's about it. There is a market for football. Football is such a growing sport. It's still growing. It's hilarious. The biggest sport in the world, but yet it's still growing. From now on, going forward, all town goes to the XFL. I don't know about that. Let's keep going, rolling through. Get caught up here. How concerned are you with the Sixers offering close? See, I didn't see that they're offering them a max report. If it's anywhere near max, if it's anywhere near 3 to 4 years, I'm going to flip out and be pissed off. There's zero doubt in my mind that I would be pissed at that, and I don't think that's the case. I really don't think there's any scenario where the Sixers give him 3 or 4 years at $50 million a year. I don't. 3 years, maybe $100 million. Most likely 2 years, and I think this is why he's quote unquote teetering. He doesn't know where he wants to go, back to Houston or stay here in Philly. And I hate it. Make up your damn mind. Like what James Harden does right now and what Dame Lillard does every year, I don't know. It's so nauseating. You're grown-ass men. Say what you want to say, put it out there, and let the marbles fall where they lie. Or make a damn decision. You're either loyal to your city, like Dame Lillard, or not. Or James Harden, you're either going home or you're staying where you have a chance to win the title. Just make it official. Windhorse believes 76 is willing to offer close to max contract. Well, Windhorse, he's got his sources. If it was coming from Ramona Shelbourne, I'd be more concerned because she seems to have really, really in-deep sources with the Sixers. Look, I think if this is what's, being leaked, there's always a chance. I didn't read the SI article because exactly. Look, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with James Harden. But the fact that it's still a lingering issue concerns me, annoys me. It's a pain in the ass. Like literally, before long, we're going to run out of Tobias Harris trade suitors because everybody in the NBA is making moves already. And you're going to end up getting less for Tobias Harris if you wait too long because teams are going to start setting up their rosters. Not every team isn't going to wait on the Sixers to make a decision, on James Harden to make a decision. Don't be upset. It's okay. It'll all be okay. 76ers operating James Harden-sized new contract. Suitors ended pursuit as per Bleacher Report. So Bleacher Report saying contract is signed. Oh, jeez. Let me refresh Twitter and see if I can find any of this stuff. I don't know. I don't see anything on Twitter just yet from any big name star. I don't see anything about James Harden just yet. But the point of this all is, and if James Harden signs today or if it becomes official, obviously that'll be the story of the conversation tomorrow on this show. But the point is, we can't make our decision till James Harden does. Sixers are conducting business as if he'll be back. But yeah, until you got that ink signed, you're going to continue to hear rumors. Because yesterday the rumor was that he still is torn on coming back to Philadelphia. Because he really wants to go to Houston, to go home. Roto, first to have that news, Phil. Which news? That I'm stuck? Apparently Tuesday on Get Up, ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst said the Sixers are operating like they will retain Harden after his other suitors seemingly moved on to other options. James Harden, his other options did move on, except for the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets still have $60 million in cap space. So there is still a chance that, the Rockets say, yeah, come here, we'll give you the full max. And that's the only reason why he'd go back to Houston is for that full max. Yeah, he's holding us hostage. Just like Dame Lillard is holding the Portland Trailblazers hostage. And Marshawn, you're late to the show today. I said it, when does Joel Embiid become the next Dame Lillard? Where he holds us hostage every offseason. When does he become frustrated? Does this offseason, the way it's playing out for the Sixers, where we can't make a move till James Harden decides, when does Joel Embiid become the one that holds the Sixers hostage every year. Well, let me see what your plan is, and then I'll decide if I want out or not. You just said the teams are setting up their rosters. And yeah, look, everybody's setting up their rosters except for the Sixers because, yeah, maybe James Harden stays, maybe he goes. But we can't do anything else until James Harden makes his damn decision. Just like the Blazers couldn't make a decision until Dame Lillard said something. So you're saying, I'm saying a lot. It's funny because Dame really doesn't say much. He doesn't. He said his actions speak. Look, I love Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard's always been one of my favorite players in the NBA outside of Philly. But this every single year, will he stay or will he go? Will he be available? Like, maybe I'm frustrated with Dame Lillard because I've always wanted Dame Lillard to play in Philly. I've wanted to hang a Dame Lillard jersey in a Sixers uniform back there so bad for so long. It just becomes nauseating and frustrating. His lack, he never says definitive. But see, the thing is, like, why does he have to make a definitive statement? Like, he's either all in Portland or he's out. Like, it doesn't have to be every year the opinion changes. Like, just whatever, you know? It's every damn offseason. It's so frustrating. Look, we're up to final 4 minutes here. We got 11 likes. If anybody's watching, make sure if you haven't hit the like button. We've only got 11 likes on YouTube. We've only got my own personal like on Facebook right now. Make sure wherever you're watching, you're hitting that like button. I greatly appreciate it. He waits a few weeks and says, I never leave, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that what Bradley Beal did for a really long time. And Bradley Beal finally won it out, but his value had dropped so far at that point. Paul Reed and McDaniels fit Nurse's player profile. Jane Springer is going to be a stud defensively at the very least. We can't decide whether we're keeping Paul Reed, McDaniels, both, one or the other, until James Harden makes a decision. Free agency starts next week, I think. Reed and McDaniels are free agents. Now, we have the right to match their offers, but if some other team swoops in, you know, and we can't make those decisions. That's right. If we get to 1,000 likes on a video, maybe Liam will send me to London. You know, that's asking a lot. What is up, man? We're wrapping up the show here. We got 3 minutes left. We're all over the place with the conversation today. Drew, I recommend going back and listen to all the conversations today. I mean, we're all over the place today. All over the place. But that's what we do on the morning show. I come up with one idea. Wherever you guys go, that's where we go. And I got things here, you know, that I haven't even talked about. Does anybody want Andrew Larry McCutcheon, Kirk Cousins, tug of war? Man, that he popped in my news this week. Like, I don't get it. You know, we barely touched on, was the Kyle Schwarber deal worth it? You know, there's so many things on my notes today. Some of them I can't read. I was partaking the other day in a little too much adult activity. I got some scribble scrabble. It's like that Seinfeld episode where he's got a joke written down and he can't read it. And it turns out it's not funny. I don't know what this scribble is on here, but whatever. I just looked it up. It says Harden has a 4-year contract worth $200 million. Man, if that's the case, man, we're just ending the show right here. And then it's going to be all tomorrow, James Harden, obviously. If that turns out to be true, I'm refreshing Twitter right now. I still don't see it. But, man, it would suck if it's the case. At least Kyrie told Boston fans, if you want me back, yeah, just be honest. Kyrie going to come save our franchise. I have no problem with Kyrie Irving being in Philly. Like, I think Kyrie Irving, he's a freaking nut job. I get it. But he's got that killer instinct that we need. With 2 minutes left in the game, a minute and a half left in the game, you need a bucket. You need a bucket. Kyrie Irving's going to get it. I'm sorry. I'm sidetracked because I keep refreshing, everything. So, anyway, James Harden resigns. I'm cussing in the chat tomorrow. Yeah, that might be the conversation. Would you rather Kyrie than James Harden right now? You have to take one or the other. Would you rather Kyrie? See, again, Chatter asked. I don't know how to do it. There's a way to put polls in the YouTube. I don't know how to do it. So we can do live polls. Like, I would be live polling that right now. But I don't know how to do it. If you know how to do it, let me know, and we'll start running polls, mid-show all the time. 100% Kyrie over Harden. It's crazy. It's crazy that we're there. All right, we got to start the wrap-up here today. Got to start the wrap-up. Let's see here. I keep refreshing Twitter, hoping to see something about James Harden, just so I can end it on a bad note of the show, but I don't see it. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that stuff. Kyrie, easy. Everybody's jumping on. Everybody thought I was nuts weeks ago when I said Kyrie Irving. Give me Kyrie over Dame Dame loves Portland too much. He may never be fully embraced in Philly. Look, Dame Lillard's always been my favorite player, but at this point, he's becoming nothing more than an annoying conversation, in my opinion. We're wrapping up Trending the AM right there. Go back, like, share, retweet, follow, do it all. Yeah, we got up to 14 likes. That's not 1,000. I don't think Liam's sending me to London for 14 likes, but it's a good start. Just realize, guys, that if this James Harden news leaks today and becomes official, it's going to be rough, man. A-Town down, my man. Dame's game winner and that state after it burned into my brain. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime anything cool happens, that replays in my head. Dude, I don't know what tomorrow's show is going to be like, guys. I don't know what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. It might be James Harden long-term in Philly. But, man, I hope I have no agenda tomorrow. I hope I've got no show tomorrow. But if we got a James Harden show tomorrow, guys, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Everybody have a great day. Everybody enjoy it. It's going to rain more today, so bring those umbrellas. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stiefel. Like, share, retweet, follow. Trending in the AM, where your opinions actually matter. Out for the day. We'll see you tomorrow.